2002 Audi TT Quattro.
But I can't stop thinking about that race. A car named after motorcycle race. Whoa, I won't stop.
The Audi TT is named after the Isle of Man motorcycle race. A car is named after a motorcycle race. The only car more mislabeled and patronizing is the Ford F-150 Harley-Davidson edition. Let's get right to the engine. This 8N, if you want to sound cool, has a 1.8-liter transverse 4 with a turbo and 5 valves per cylinder, driving all 4 wheels, which propel a threateningly cute proportional body. Makes 180 horsepower, give or take. And the previous owner did things, so who knows how much it's making now. The TT stops using 4-wheel ABS traction control, ventilated front discs, and solid rear discs, and electronic brake force distribution. That means it's a car that's Sonic in the streets and Knuckles in the sheets.
Guy put a suspension, like a racing suspension.
Oh, stalled it!
You were the... You're gonna have to...
Oh yeah, it's one of those European things. You gotta turn it all the way off and turn it all the way on.
I haven't stalled it yet. You're the first...
Wow.
Take care of my car.
And this T-square bilateral lateral symmetry extends to the front air vents, which are silhouetted by 2 bulges running back to the windshield. The roof exists to make the car look good, and the wheels exist to make the car look good, and the rear seats exist so Audi can tell Allstate that it's a 4-seater family car.
So you kind of can get 2 short people in, maybe? Let me see. But the problem is, even if my legs fit, my head won't fit. Because the back slopes down so fast.
Oh, your head is
my head is hitting the back of
the window. Audi TT, sponsored by plenty of fish users who put the word child-free in the first sentence of their profiles. If you show this car to my dad, he's gonna go, "That's not a car, that's just a toy." And he'll say that about anything that's not a 4-door sedan or a minivan. That's just a toy. As if small, fun cars designed by folks who care about how the car looks aren't capable of real work. Ted, the owner of this TT, used it to move. He used this car to move from Lancaster, Pennsylvania to Portland, Oregon. He got all his stuff in this. So don't tell me small cars can't be useful. Don't tell me fun cars can't be useful. Oh, freaking hell.
Take it easy, man. It's got...
That's the all-wheel drive. It's well,
all-wheel drive. It also has a new clutch, so it's got a real sharp clutch. So if you're used to a clutch that doesn't engage until you're out further,
yeah,
that one, it'll pop on almost right away.
Ah, more revs.
So just give it a little bit more gas.
Yeah. Man, stall a car twice.
I know, right?
Out of all the things to stall, why couldn't I? Like people would have made a point if I would have stalled that 3rd gen. Oh, here we go. That 3rd gen Supra with the 1JZ and the twin clutch, comp clutch.
Yeah.
I'll be like, oh, okay, that is sort of a semi-racing setup. I can forgive you being stalled. You're freaking stalling an Audi TT.
I know, what are you doing? The
Audi TT is a derivative car, but there's really no reason that derivative needs to be a 4-letter word. The TT is based on the Volkswagen Group A4 or PQ34 platform, which is shared by the Volkswagen Golf Mark IV and the Audi A3. So this is a car with pedigree behind it, although it's up to you to decide what that pedigree is worth. Whether or not the term derivative is a bad word or not depends mostly on what you get out of its lineage, since Audi has faced plenty of issues related to this car. In 2007, there was a class action lawsuit that zeroed in on the first generation models. The 1.8-liter turbocharged engine and the timing belts failed unexpectedly. At least that's what the lawsuit alleged at the time, but it didn't stop with the first-gen TT. The lawsuit extended to the A4 and the Passat over the course of the year. In short, the brand was taking more black eyes than it had eyeballs to blacken, and it got worse the following year when another lawsuit accused Audi and Volkswagen of installing failed instrument clusters in its 2000 to 2005 Audi TTs.
There's a little story here. So these buttons I mentioned, if you push on them real hard, they sink back into the dash.
Okay.
So when the guy sold me the car, he had another TT dash in his garage, and he said, hey, just take this part out of there, and then you can use the bracket to replace it. So we pull this out, and I'm looking at it, and I'm like, well, these are all mounted inside this very sturdy plastic enclosure. that if this was screwed into the dash, that's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
So I couldn't figure out why these were caving in. So I
Right.
pulled the radio out and I looked in there, and apparently each one of these modules
Yeah.
is a separate piece in there.
Oh.
And there's no bracket. So this
Oh.
must be the dash mount for a newer model TT. And the older model TTs don't have this big piece in here, so these things have a tendency to collapse.
Both cases were settled, but the reputation of the brand had already been stained like skid marks on a pair of tighty-whities. Sure, they weren't going to stay white forever, but no one was expecting a brown assquake in those Fruit of the Looms.
A pill that has a taste is a pill you know is going to work.
You might have a...
Oh!
Go ahead. I have not stalled this thing once. I guess I'm just a gentler driver.
Here's some truth for your ass. There are 600 million passenger cars in the world, which levels out to 1 for every 11 people. Can we really afford to be snobs in a world like this? Is automotive purism practice at the expense of simply appreciating a car for what it is? I don't know, but I feel it's a debate worth exploring. Car culture has improved by leaps and bounds over the years, roping in casuals and making enthusiasts out of newbies. But sometimes the attitude stretches too far, to the point where nothing is good enough. And we can't let that position take us, because then, well, what's the point? Here's more on caring about how the car looks. Even though some of the interior parts are Volkswagen parts bin, and we're supposed to turn our nose up at that, they're all in the right spots. They give non-stop symmetry. Yes, this belongs here, and this belongs here, and this works here.
I know, I'm used to my abusable Honda gearbox. Seriously, what is up?
Are you serious?
You know, here's something personal. I hear other guys, or other men, depending on what you want to put the maturity level at, I hear other guys say, you know, those Audi TTs, they're pretty interesting cars, but I think I'll just get the Camaro. I like the Camaro, yeah. And what you just heard is code for, I want an Audi TT because I like how it looks, but the car isn't masculine enough with its cute nose and its bubble butt, and I secretly love all those things, but I drink at the hosey, and if I buy this car that I really want, they're all gonna laugh at me. And that reminds me of another story. My buddy was telling me the story of this guy who showed up at work one day with a pink lunch pail, and this family man went to every single of his male co-workers and explained, look, I just want you to understand that I couldn't find my lunch pail. This isn't mine. It's my wife's. She just let it. I just want to know this isn't mine. I just have to use it for today. And he went to every single male co-worker, even ones he doesn't really talk to all that much, and explained his situation. Think about that. Think about the guys who want something pretty. It's okay to like pretty things. Not everything has to be aggressive. And the men who buy Audi TTs are the men who are confident enough to go for what they want, for what they enjoy. An Audi TT is for the man who confidently buys a body groom and says, I am going to use this ball shaver to shave my balls and my cock. Not for anybody else, but for me. First generation Audi TT. You only get so many laps around the sun. So buy the car you really want.
I wanna buy this car. Despite its reputation, it gets far. Cute nose and a butt for days. But I can't stop thinking about that race. A car named after motorcycle race. Whoa, I won't stop till I open my garage door. Drove you once, I want more.